We all know that ZTE already has something good in the high-end area of the market. The ZTE Axon 7, it's super spec and has a very attractive price point. But they're not neglecting the entry level of the market because that's where they have their roots established. And today they announced their latest phone. This is the ZTE ZMAX Pro. Now some people are going to have a tough time wrapping their heads around its pricing. First of all, it's going to be available through Metro PCS, but more importantly, it's going to start off with a price point of $100 outright. And that's pretty aggressive if you ask anyone. But luckily, it doesn't look or feel cheap at all, unlike some of the other sub 200 phones out there in the market. We definitely like the soft touch finish of the rear casing because it adds a certain degree of grip to the hand, while also being pretty good at being smudge resistant. Now the size is going to be something that some people are going to think about. Some might like it, some might not, but considering that this is $100, the design of the phone is pretty good. What you get here is a 6-inch TFT LCD display with Gorilla Glass 3. Now it's worth mentioning that it has full HD resolution, which is kind of impressive because when you think about phones under $150, not all of them offer full HD resolution, so it's nice having it here, and it is pretty detailed for the most part. Now, our issue pertains to the brightness output. It was a cloudy day, not all that bright, and even on the highest brightness setting, it seemed kind of tough to make out, kind of underpowered, and the screen seems to be highly reflective as well. Specs-wise, it's pretty indicative of its price point. It's a value-conscious smartphone, so it's powered by a 1.5 GHz octa-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 617 chip with 2 GB of RAM. It's going to handle all the trivial stuff with ease, but when it comes to more processor-intensive stuff, you kind of know it might not be able to handle them. It has 32 GB of internal storage. It can be supplemented with a micro SD card slot, but there are two things worth noting about the hardware here. First, it does come with a fingerprint sensor. It's on the back, and that's key because it adds an element of security, and very few phones in its price range offers a fingerprint sensor. And secondly, it offers also a USB Type-C port, so at least it's up to date with that in terms of the connectivity. The cameras on the phone seem to be decent from a spec standpoint. You have a 13 megapixel rear camera with phase detection autofocus, and then you have a 5 megapixel front facing camera. We did take a few snapshots with the phone in our time using it, and we checked them out on the phone itself. They look nice, but again, it's not really indicative of its real potential because low lighting is usually key to telling what phones are good and what phones aren't. And finally, the software. Now it's running Marshmallow out of the box, and who knows if we'll get the next version of Android, but what's more important here is that it's a mostly stock interface, which is nice, just like the ZTE Axon 7. So purists will like that because it's simple and straightforward. However, they do include some of the Metro PCS software too. The biggest thing about the ZTE ZMAX Pro is its price point. It's $100. That's kind of ridiculous and also unbelievable at the same time, but that's what it is. And given that it has a fingerprint sensor, a USB Type-C port, you have expandable storage, you have HD voice functionality, it's a pretty good offering, a lot of value thrown in there. But it's only available to Metro PCS, and that's the only limitation in getting this phone known. So if you guys want to learn more about the ZTE ZMAX Pro, you can check out our website, androidauthority.com. This is John V, signing out.